My fourth boxing workout. I'm ready for the weekend, so I am definitely ready for the weekend. Going to get back up into the 70s over the next couple of days right here. So we had a couple of days of 50, 55, and wind was from the north. Now the wind is from the south. So make the golfers and tennis players and bike riders happy. Today we awakened to the EU will meet Sunday, but don't look for an announcement to come no later than next Wednesday. And the fight is over how much money and whether to leverage it or not. Now, if you are a politician or a faceless bureaucrat and 700 billion plus euros is not deemed enough, maybe I could leverage that and double the impact. And of course, well, I know it has to be paid back, but maybe not on my watch. So, I mean, politicians love to take credit for every good thing that happens. Bureaucrats love to be hidden. Neither one of them want to be held accountable for anything bad that happens. So if I could double the impact of those funds by just borrowing some money, maybe I'll just go ahead and do that. So I don't know what the outcome is going to be next week, but we will not have an announced settlement. I won't know what the program is Sunday evening. So the politicians have kicked the can down the road at least another 3 days past Sunday. So that is where we are. One person died in the Greek riots yesterday. The first round of Greek rioting that started all this off, 3 people were killed. So I guess the rioters are de-escalating their push for money, but they did burn down a parking garage for government officials now. The irony of that is hard to escape. They have too many government workers. The government workers are out rioting for more money and to maintain the status quo in their lifestyle, and they inconvenience themselves by burning down one of their parking garages. Go figure. But supposedly over 100,000 people hit the streets yesterday with rocks and Molotov cocktails, and that's what we have. So the problems are severe. The solution is not easy. We're going to see it in the United States just as we've seen it in England. When you take something away from people who think they have the right to that, some of them are going to revolt, and that's where we are. So tough times are in store for all of us that have based our economy on the European model. Because this announcement is going to be pushed, my guess is that this $1.3 trillion figure right now would be enough to excite the E-mini market for them to go get stops above 1225.27. And then how deep will the market sell off once that's done? I mean, I don't know. We used to laugh and call it the hose factor, but the locals, the professionals, the exchange members at the in the E-mini contract will try to create a move that inflicts the most short-term pain on the most people. And that would probably be getting stops above either 1228 or stops above 1230.75. So we'll see if that actually happens. On the note, we have had a pretty solid seller above 129. My guess is that seller is above 128 right now. Looking at option expiration for the note, 128.5 to 129 is where the open interest has settled in. So we'll see if that happens. Wider on the bond, 138 to 141. My guess is we'll probably close that one between 138 and 140. The way that it works, got a little extra volatility, etc. So right now, I think we may have a shot at buying below yesterday's 128.13. The market is pointed that way, especially with a little help from the E-mini. So we have a a buy 9s to 13s. That's on the assumption that we can get it down below 16. We haven't made it yet, and I think it takes a little help from the E-mini. The sell zone 23 to 27 to get started. Would like to get that done at 27 or better, but we'll have to see. So rumors out of Europe. The first news story on Bloomberg this morning said, talking about raising it to 1.3 trillion. My guess is if they do raise it to 1.3 trillion, they'll use leverage. They'll double the hard cash commitment of I think it's maybe 700 billion euros. I forget. Or maybe it's 700 and plus billion in dollars. That would make more sense than 1.3 trillion in dollars. So I don't remember the euro amounts. So that's where we are. Not a lot going on. Liable to be a pretty quiet day. When I came in this morning, normally you expect about 170, 180,000 contracts to have traded overnight. We traded 117. You'd be looking for, at that time in the morning, 180, 200,000 in the E-mini, and we had oh shoot, where did I write it down? 180. So they had there's more action in the E-mini as the markets jockey. Asia, Hong Kong was up, Japan and China off. Europe was up a little bit marginally. So let's work the trading range and see what happens. Quick look at the F4 screen. The market was drifting lower. So the trade that first showed itself was our RTF setup at the mode. So we have 2 bars of space. The retest is literally to the tick. And the market has drifted lower. Ever since. So we might be forming a little head and shoulders right now. We may not be able to get it through 16, but I think getting stops below 13 is in the cards. Nothing is going on. You can see that right here. So this will be the number we'll key off of. And if this starts to build to the sell side, that should give us that run for stops below 13. But I don't see this market breaking. You see the push the can mindset in our politicians too. The Senate has not put a budget out, I think, in 900 plus days. They haven't really been able to put that budget out because of the deficit spending. So no one's holding them accountable in the press for not fulfilling their constitutional obligations. Obama, right now, everything is kind of piecemeal. And why is it piecemeal? Not sticking your neck out the 2012 elections. So the EU is pushing it 3 or 4 days into the future. Our Congress is on hold probably until January of 2013. So human nature, the mindset of the political class, and the bureaucracies are the same around the world. They got it pretty darn good. They've got better than average, better than their constituents' retirements. They are inflation protected. They have their own separate medical system. And wouldn't it be nice to have a job where you were never held accountable and could not be fired unless you got caught on camera doing some heinous act? So if you had that gig, and didn't mind not doing a hell of a lot from day to day, you'd fight like the dickens to preserve it too. So we have stops above 27 or stops above 31. So this is the area I think they're going to get the ES into, strictly to hunt for stops. There's no news. Major players will be sidelined, awaiting the announcement out of Europe. So the locals can move the exchange members, the market 5 points by themselves. Not much more than that. And if 5 points right here at say 1222 takes us up to 27, the bottom end of that range. If they kick in and get some help from institutions, they can take it a bit higher than that. So I'm guessing the hose factor is going to drive the early trading today. And if you think about the mechanism of markets and putting on trades and the rest of that, and being tested early and often, the hose factor starts to make some sense, especially when it's in a group's interest to go find those stops. And that's the job of the exchange members as far as the E-mini goes. Okay, we have two moms. We had a close yesterday in the 1210 area. Definitely dealing with P's. If we put all of this together, we're still dealing with a P. So this market doesn't have a lot of trouble trading higher. On what? Fundamentally, I can't see a reason out there on the surface that jumps out and grabs you. But the economic activity news over the last couple of weeks has generally come in a little better than forecast. And there is a school of thought out there, if you look at the underlying statistics, etc., that it's going to be hard for the U.S. to move into a recession. So there's those that believe we're headed to the second leg of the recession, and there's those that believe we're going to have slow growth and miss a recession. And none of us know what the actual outcome will be. So that's the battle. So when the recession news is ascendant, the market sells. When the no recession news is ascendant, we get better than expected economic news, then the market can rally. So here we are. So first place we've got resistance is 25.27. Second place is 30.32. And we got volume at 40. So probably a little dent up here at 37. So that's probably your third area. Down below the breakout. So 16, 17. Got this area right here, 10, 12. And the last rotate down yesterday was 2. We've got volume at 7, so 2 to 7 would be the third area. And we've got 9,500 with a large player long on the E-mini, so a lot of reasons that this market is pointed higher. Okay, I put that article on cattle up there. There's two reasons for cattle prices to be as high as they are. One of them is just our ethanol program, where 40% of our corn production goes towards the ethanol. That is a government subsidized, I mean, it's just like wind power, solar power, and the rest of it, but it's in place, and every farmer in the Corn Belt calls his congressman and says, keep that going. Every large corporation, and Archer's Daniel Midland, ADM, is the biggest one that profits from it, calls their congressman and PAC and tell them to keep that program in place. So it kicks up the price of beef in and of itself, and then we have this drought this year, and this drought is for real. The La Nina is still in effect, and to be in effect over the winter, so that means warmer than normal temps for the southern central plains and drier than normal. So the price of beef is up 39% over the last 2 years. And, you know, from a consumer standpoint, when you look at the price of food and the price of energy, it's pretty hard not to have this impact your budget. While the Fed says, you know, this will be coming down due to high unemployment and factory capacity, every day you go to a store, you see this, it impacts you. So inflation is for real. Our agricultural policies are behind a great deal of this inflation. Last year, without a drought, ag prices were up beef prices were up 26%. So, you know, at least 25% of the food cost inflation is directly attributable to government programs. Okay, here's a very, very clean break. There's the breakout. So 15 to 17 might be as far as this market can correct today. Don't know. Yesterday's close in the 1210, 1212 area would be the second area that would look attractive. And then there's enough volume at 7 to 8 to get pulled down. So 6 to 8 might be where we end up. I'm guessing sideways. I'm pretty sure we'll get stops above 27. After that, I don't know. Getting stops before yesterday's close, going back and making sure there's no day session gap would make some sense too. So we'll have to see what happens, but that's where we are. So may take 15s to 17s to get in long. Not too interested in getting short until we've retested the 1227 or the 1231 area. Any questions? We'll go back and catch the opening of the day session. Well, our ag policies have gone around the world. It's created food riots in Central and South America, and I'm sure in China too, when you go back and look at it. So the old butterfly flapping its wings in China sets off volcanoes and hurricanes and everything else, if you believe in chaos theory. That was an image that went around the world instantly. So we'll see if we can crack the 13 area on the note. Oh, the open borders policy is, and Bush's approach to that is pretty tough. Towards the end, they wanted to get the fence up, but that stopped and died in Congress. So I think the solution to the immigration program is to open up the visa program for skilled, competent, educated technical workers, seal the southern borders, then deport the criminal element that's come across the borders illegal, and work out a deal with the rest. I mean, if you wanted a population to assimilate, it would be a population that had the same values you did, and because Latin America is primary Catholic, their values are very, very similar. They're very, very conservative. The person that you don't want to bring in overwhelming numbers and groups are those groups that don't have the same values that you do, because it creates all sorts of problems up and down. And the other thing is that you should have a policy of not divide and conquer, create special groups that you can appeal to politically, but assimilate them into America. And we've neglected to do that too. So again, government policies, if things were left alone, we'd probably do a little bit better than we do. So it is a mess. I don't think anybody would be sealing the Canadian border again because of values. But if you ever wanted to find a border that you could walk across pretty much with impunity, it would be the U.S.-Canadian border, because it's miles and miles and miles of untended spaces and wilderness, so it's pretty easy to make that trip. As they would say in Canada, eh? See y'all later.